All right, people, good afternoon once again. I know 2 uploads within an hour of each other. I usually don't do that. I usually try to keep things spaced out, but when stuff happens in the NFL, stuff happens and you got to go with it. And something's happened, and it's the Seahawks doing this something that happened. So, just a handful of minutes ago, we got word from Pelissero that the Seahawks have claimed safety Johnathan Abram off waivers from the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Packers just picked up Abram, excuse me. It's not Abrams, Abram, and released him after like a week or two. So this guy's getting passed around the league a little bit right now. So not exactly the second coming of Earl Thomas here, but I'm actually pretty excited about this because even though he is definitely a flawed player that right now doesn't have the greatest reputation in the league, he's clearly better than what we have. And he's clearly going to fill a need and provide injury depth for these Seahawks. So I'm pretty happy about this one, guys. Johnathan Abram, pretty interesting football life so far. I'm going to walk it through a little bit here, try to explain what's going on with him, what kind of player he is. But the big picture positive, the thing to understand about Johnathan Abram, if you're trying to find the good here, is this is a former first-round pick. This was a guy who was a star in college, and he hasn't been able to find that star-level play in the NFL yet, and he may never do it, but it exists. You look at a guy like the guy who he's nominally going to be replacing, Josh Jones. I think this signing is largely prompted by the fact that Josh Jones played that final play against the Raiders so poorly, where he took that terrible angle that gave him no chance to get Jacobs before he sprung for that long touchdown. You see with Josh Jones, there's just really nothing there. We thought maybe there was something there in training camp because he was playing so well reportedly, but you see it on the field now, there's just not much there. He can't tackle. He can't tackle at all. He's one of the most horrific tacklers we've ever seen pass through Seattle. So Johnathan Abram, at the very least, has a ceiling that is, up here somewhere. He may never get there. In fact, at this point, it's unlikely he gets there. That's totally fine. If somebody wants to say that, I won't disagree. He's been pushed off of 2 different teams now. It's unlikely that suddenly he's going to turn into the guy that he was supposed to be coming out of college, but at least the ceiling exists, and at the very least, even if he doesn't get there, the guy can tackle. So Johnathan Abram started his college career at Georgia in 2015. He didn't play that much. He played some, but he played pretty well. But there were some things that happened in the offseason. I think there was some stuff that happened regarding their bowl game that year. I can't remember all the details, but he ended up leaving Georgia, and he went to go play at a JUCO college for a year, and he was basically the most dominant player in all of JUCO football that year. So the next year he goes to Mississippi State and goes on to be a 2-year starter there. Really good player. His senior year, his senior year, I guess, 2018 for Mississippi State, played in 13 games, 99 tackles, 9 for loss, 3 sacks, 2 interceptions. He was a really good player. And you go back and you look at the scouting reports on Johnathan Abram when he came out of college. It was hard hitter, big, strong personality, big enough to play like a linebacker. He plays like a linebacker. He's somebody who can come up into the box. He's somebody who can be a nickel linebacker for you on passing downs. Good tackler, good instincts, good speed. All these things that you look at and you go, yeah, that is somebody who needs to be out there instead of Josh Jones if somebody gets hurt. Josh Jones has just become completely untenable. Johnathan Abram, at the very least, you can put him out there. He can tackle. He can take good. He can take better angles. He's somebody who's going to be a hard hitter. These are the things that are good about Abram, because those scouting reports, when he came out of college and entered the draft in 2019, have largely proven true, just not to the extremes that, say, the Raiders were hoping. So he gets to the NFL, he gets drafted by the Raiders, and the first year doesn't really do that much, only plays in 1 game. The next year, Starts to get his feet underneath him. Has a pretty decent year statistically. 86 tackles in 13 games. 2 interceptions. Makes some plays on the ball. 2021, he has over 115. He had 116 tackles, excuse me, and an interception in 14 games. So things are starting to happen here. And 2022, it's not working. He gets released halfway through the year. He goes to Green Bay for a couple weeks, and they release him too. So something happened, and it just wasn't clicking. And now he's 26 years old, so teams feel like they've seen enough of him. And the reason why he's getting passed around the league seems to be pretty clear. If you take a look at his coverage numbers, basically the dude can't cover. The dude really struggles in coverage, struggles to make plays, and even though he's a good tackler, he's a hard hitter, he does a lot of things you like from a safety, this holds him back. So if you want to know why Johnathan Abram was out on waivers in the first place, he struggles big time in coverage. But I believe that some of the positive traits concerning his ability to tackle, his ability to blitz, he's actually been a somewhat prolific blitzer in the NFL so far. I know he doesn't have any sacks, and I know that sounds weird to say, like, oh, he's a prolific blitzer, but he's got no sacks. But he's making plays in the backfield, he's hitting quarterbacks, he's knocking them down, he's affecting plays that way. So, Johnathan Abram, the other thing you might notice about him is that PFF hates his guts. 2020, they gave him a grade of like 37. Horrific, horrendous. Mostly because he can't cover. 30 coverage grade from PFF. And then 2021, his biggest year in terms of numbers, it was better. 57. That's tolerable. That's passable. But again, below average in coverage. Pretty good pass rusher. Passable run D. And then in 2022, things kind of go the other way, actually, if anything. 2022, things are just not working. I mean, not a whole lot is working over there in Las Vegas right now, if we're being honest. Bad time for me to say that right now, I know, because they just beat us. But regardless, not a lot of things going great on that defense right now. And Johnathan Abram ended up being one of the casualties of that. But this guy has talent. This guy definitely has talent. He can play like a linebacker. He's a hard hitter. He's been a good tackler. I mean, if you take a look at his advanced metrics page, you'll see there have been some years where the missed tackle rate was a little too high, but you can also see it's actually gone down as the years have gone by. So at the very least, I believe he's a significant upgrade over Josh Jones, even at his relatively low level of play. And I also believe that there is a higher ceiling with Abram, where there is a first-round pick in there somewhere. It's way deep down, but it does exist. So hopefully he realizes it now. I mean, how nice would that be to just pick up some rando off waivers? Well, not a rando, but somebody who was on waivers in the first place and have them become a stud player. Not exactly counting on it, but would be nice. And either way, in the event of an injury at safety, Josh Jones has just become unplayable, so we needed somebody. I would rather get somebody like an Abram, who at the very least has elite theoretical talent, than somebody who is, you know, just kind of stuck in second gear no matter what. So Johnathan Abram is a Seahawk. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys think this guy can realize his massive potential. Let me know if you think he's at least going to be an upgrade over Josh Jones. Just let me know. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Probably another video later today.